It's Pierre Laguerre here, your daily motivator, and of course, here to challenge, inspire, and motivate you on this day. This is episode number 528. Can't believe I've already been doing so many episodes, but you know what? I do believe it because now I'm up on a daily basis and putting out more. This morning, it's 5 a.m. that I'm heading out, but I'm actually recording this ahead of time at night for those of you that will take a listen in the morning because I wanted to put it out there real early. 5 a.m. I'm going out for a walk with my wife and it's actually nice outside. But what I want you to know is this. What have you created recently? And more than what you've created, what's stopping you from creating? You see, as we're living in a pandemic time, unprecedented times, what you need to understand is there is no better time to launch out than now. Most people are afraid to launch out. And sometimes when you get hit, when you go out to the sharks, it's tough to get back the strength, the reserve, if you want to call it, to step back out there in the deep. But actually the deep is where all the action is. Ask the guys that actually have the GPS on those king crabs. Point is, there are places where you need to be. You can't stay in the shallow waters much longer. And it's frustrating. You actually have ideas of things you could build that could benefit your customers, that could benefit the world around you. And of course, you're probably stuck not necessarily doing those things because you're afraid to step out. For some of us, it's called the imposter syndrome. And today I just want to help you deal with this thing called the imposter syndrome. You see, tonight I watched a movie with my wife about Enola Holmes, supposedly Sherlock Holmes' little sister by 10 years. It was really a very good movie, and I would recommend that some of you go out there and check it out on Netflix. But here's the thing. She had to make a path for herself. She had to learn from her mother. Now, of course, the movie deals with some things that are pretty disturbing. A mom leaving her child, her last one, to fend for herself. But the beauty is she left a code for her baby to decode it, to understand how to live life. And she had trained that child. So at the end of the day, of course, it's the movies. It's not that bad. They do, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. She does meet her mom again, but here's the thing I want you to understand. She taught her daughter to think, and she taught her daughter to actually take action, but with much thought, understanding what was going on around her in the world she was being raised. Point is, you've got to understand right now we are in an unprecedented time, if I might say it that way, unprecedented times when you could be creating a course, you could be selling a product, you could be selling a service, and frankly, you have more than ever, still to this day, a captive audience. You see, people are looking for value. People want that you give them something of value. And if you've yet to create your course, if you've yet to create your business, it's not that hard. The key thing to understand is there are some basics about having a company. And let me school you quickly. As I'm taking right here one of my presentations that I do for the empresarios. This is for the businesses at the church that I go to. The first thing you have to think about is, what are you going to create? You've got to create a product or service, but really, even though you create a product or service, even though you focus on the second part, which is marketing, right? Before sales comes marketing. And if you do your marketing well, you won't have to sell hard. And eventually there's fulfillment, and let's not forget finances, the money. But all these things mean nothing if you are not focused on the customer. We're not talking about getting fake customers, getting fake reviews, none of that. We're talking about focusing on fulfilling the needs and wants of your customers. Now, there are a lot of things your customers want, and you better sell it to them. But you better make sure along the way you're giving them what they need at the same time. Let me repeat that for you. It's not enough to sell the customer what they want. You've got to also give them what they need. Now, understand that not everybody's going to step out during these times. Most people are risk averse. And some of us out here, we're kind of crazy. Since 1993, I've always been, I started building my first business with some friends from college, dating myself here, but it was really a different time. But now that I've, been building my own job, and I'll call it that because the first step of entrepreneurship is stepping out and becoming self-employed. But eventually, once you've worn all the hats, then you recognize what it is when you are hiring other folks to work with you. So if you have dreams to start a business, if you actually have a story to tell around the business you've already been building the last year or so, I'm inviting you to join me on my podcast. This very podcast here, The Daily Motivator. Go to eonthemove.com/guest and join me and become my guest, and we will share your story with the world. So again, this is Pierre Laguerre, your Daily Motivator. I hope that, this week, what I'm really touching on is your need to step out and create something that will benefit the world around you. And of course, it will make you handsomely wealthy. Let's not forget about that part, right? Because at the end of the day, nothing happens until you sell something. So again, it's Pierre Laguerre, your Daily Motivator. I'll catch you on the next episode. Have a great, great day.